Okay, that's what I say. AI can improve the speed, okay, but it cannot beat the human intelligence.
If you don't have data or if you have a bad data, you'll make bad decision.
The role of CISO is definitely going to increase a lot. Every passing year is like an old technology now. I learned from my current manager. He especially told me, Tanmay, even if you are wrong, speak up.
Yeah.
Even if it is nothing relevant to this, speak up. Don't hesitate.
3 years I thought I know everything. You know, whatever I need. I've done. I've set for my life. I'll never learn again. Now I'm at a stage I can't find enough time to learn. There is so much to learn, but because of that, I still blame myself. So much time I spent, without doing anything.
So, if you have a small business of 20, 30 people, and if you have a business of 20,000 people, the scale is different.
Yeah.
You can still manage 20 people having one firewall, one code, one switch, and you can run the show. But having 20,000 people, different locations, different businesses, different data centers, cloud, you have to have one certain centralized monitoring system which will give you, okay, there is an attack happening from this place, there is a ransomware attack pattern which we noticed, how to stop it, these are the controls, this is the source playbook related to that, what are the
Yeah.
auto isolations which can be done, where the credential resets can be done, so where the ticket triage should be done. So these all are not the fancy stuff nowadays, these are the mandatory
Reality.
requirements. This is the reality,
True.
correct?
True. I remember all this UEBA and all where RSA, what they call title for the events, UEBA, insider threat, human in the loop, AI and stuff. But over a period of time, it takes time to mature. I think 3 to 5 years, they become reality. Now, insider threat is a pretty common one.
It is
Employees
common.
misusing things, by willing or unwillingly, things happen. And there are, especially those ones which you mentioned about playbooks, ticketing, triaging, that's kind of standard nowadays. Any MDR provider, if you
Yes.
ask, including us, right? Those are clearly mentioned. Previously, those were not there. Hey, these many alerts, this many we have done, this is it. But now they want to look at playbook. What is your SLA? What is the
What is necessary? Correct. Correct.
approval cycles that you need? What access do you need to make remediation action? Because remediation action 5 or 10 years ago was never a concern. You just need to tell us what is serious. We will take a look. Now, customer is asking,
Hmm.
hey, how will you remediate? We'll give you this much of limited access. Do you have automated playbooks? I want to use automated playbooks. I don't want to engage my team, right? So now more and more, these are all the fancy words are becoming, reality, ground reality now.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And Tanmay, last question on the SOC part of things, right? See, when it comes to SOC maturity, we have seen, probably you have seen, right? It was just a dumb box combing through logs and saying this is good, this is bad, right? With the era of automation and AI-driven attacks nowadays, AI is enabling red team, AI is enabling blue team. How would you think, SOC would mature, let's say in down 5, 10 years down the line?
Okay. See, uh, it is completely my opinion how it should go through. Currently, what we have seen is there are millions of logs which comes in.
Yes,
Okay,
billions,
there
if
are
not wrong.
AI tools. Yeah, it is still less correct. So, because what we have seen is, as per our current EPS count, it is 10,000 EPS. So it
Uh,
goes beyond the thinking also. So
uh,
AI has given, okay, that's what I say. AI can improve the speed, okay, but it cannot beat the human intelligence, right?
True.
AI and humans will have to work together. Now, being AI into system with a lot of nowadays every SIEM solution, uh, it can easily identify what is a good log, what is just an informative log, what is a critical log, what is a security log, what is the event log. So there are different bifurcations which can be done. Now, when we are looking at the logs, there are debug logs, which are
Yeah,
more than a million, I would say. Every
true.
second, there are multiple debug logs which creates. There are object level logging which can be done. Now, object level logging, if we are putting it in the server, if we are putting it in the switches, to differentiate everything, every type of log, there should be an AI structure how it should be bifurcated. Now, when I'm saying it, it means I would say the security logs. Now, in security log itself, what currently we are facing is we have got informative low risk log as 400,000. Now, these are only informative logs. Someone logged in, someone logged out. There can be lot. Out of that, how many are critical? Out of that, how many are high risk? To differentiate those things are important. To differentiate based on the signatures, that is important. Based connecting with global databases of threats, of threat architectures, it is important. We cannot rely on any SIM solution which is having only single database and it does not have integration with different multiple databases. So that
True.
means our vision will be limited only to that particular database which is provided by that single tool. Now, if the tool is getting integrated with multiple 5 or 6 global databases of threats, it can easily identify. The speed of identification will be very high, and AI should able to read that this is your current structure. These are your assets. These are your current network architecture, and how all these threats, correlation of these threats, are going to impact the organization.
Hmm. Nice.
So that's my idea how it should be done. Currently, what I'm seeing is maximum of the SIM tools are relying on one or two only databases. They collect the data, they will give the information, and you resolve it. For me, the
True.
end-to-end solution will be once a risk is there in any part of the world, it should come in your SIM solution. So
Hmm.
that's my collective, coherent approach towards a SIM solution or a risk-based identification.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
That's how I think.
See, right? I've been the same guy for quite a long. I understand this, and I've done Splunk, QRadar, ArcSight, McAfee, Nitro
Yes.
of Windows
Yes.
solutions. See, one of the things that you raised would always come up, right? These things are doing what they are built to do, but the executives always add this question: What data do I have? How do I use it? I
Yes.
think even till today that question exists, and that is something that we are trying to solve. Is just ask the same question, not to the consultant, not to your team, directly to the tool, right? Because usually what happens is executives are not tool friendly, right? They just
Correct.
sit on top. Most of them, they don't log in, log out every day on these tools. So that's where me being a CISO, when I met with ground mid managers and executives, I got three different versions. When I logged in, that's when I saw the reality, right? So I'm just trying to solve that problem, and that is something that you highlighted clearly. Most of the tools exist, but who need answers, they're not getting the right answers, right?
Correct. Correct.
And
So tool should understand the structure. Tool should understand the
yes,
asset, the geography of your history and geography of your organization. They should understand that,
yes.
and then they should establish what needs to be done, what needs to be approved, how it has to be performed.
See, one of the things that you mentioned and the trigger for my product idea was when the Ukraine-Russia crisis started, right? Around 2020, late
Mhm.
2021 or 2022, one of the US
Yes.
client wanted to do an assessment of the impact of this geopolitical tension. If this is US, Russia and Ukraine crisis, right? But they
Mhm.
are so proactive, right? They wanted to know what is the impact. By the time they got the impact, it was 3 weeks late, right? saying, hey,
Yeah.
these are the adversaries they might target because you are a US based manufacturing, you are supporting Ukraine but not Russia. So you might expect this level of elevated threats on these industries. So these are the assets exposed to it. For them to get this, it took 3 weeks from the initial incident, right? And they were a small company, they are not
Mhm.
like thousands of employees. Imagine if they want to do this for multi-billion dollar companies, it would take 3 months or a year,
Yes.
right? By that time,
Yeah.
that incident would have cooled off, right? So that was the idea behind it. The executive can directly ask, hey, now this is the latest geopolitical issue. What is my exposure? What should I focus on? What are the advisories?
Yes.
So it should be instantaneous. Executive shouldn't sit and wait to make decisions, because the more amount of data they have, they can make better decisions. That is from my viewpoint, because when I was in executive positions, right? If you don't have data, or if you have a bad data, you'll make bad decision, right? The more
Absolutely
right data
correct.
and the more
Correct.
data that you have context around it, you can make a better decision. So that's what I learned, and that's where the idea came up of giving people visibility to pick these tools and get the answers they need. And that's where we started. Now we are doing quite a few domains, but eventually by next year, let's see if the market accepts our product. If there is demand, definitely we'll succeed. If not, probably we'll pivot into something or look into how we can work it out. Sure, amazing insights, Tanmay. Really enjoyed it. Coming to the last segment, what do you think the future of tech leadership would look like? How do you see the role of CISO, head of security, evolving over next 5 years?
Uh, I'll say the role of CISO is definitely going to increase a lot in the current
Nice.
market trend. What is happening, and as I was mentioning, that every passing year is like an old technology now,
Yeah.
and new technologies are emerging on a daily basis. And when we say technologies are emerging, risks are emerging along with that.
Multiplier.
AI
Yeah.
coming into picture, the quantum computing which is coming into picture, the generative AI, augmented AI, the realistic AI. The work of CISO is going to increase multifolds. So when we say, because the risk factor, the risk identifications, the risk landscape itself is going to increase, or it is going to impact the organization end to end, not only based on the technology, but also on the human aspect, on the budgets, how you have to define the budgets, the regulatory come into picture, the client requirements coming into the picture. Because regulate, if we talk about regulatory, I was talking about that, uh, the penalties, the level of heavy penalties what are getting imposed of non-compliance is so much that the company itself will come to a stage of shutdown. So the work of CISO is will increase in balancing how to budget, how to resource, how to reduce the risk.
Mm.
And at the same time, when it comes to CXO level, CISO will have to be aligned with the business objectives. What are the business strategies? What are the business plans for next year? How they want to grow? Are they going within the country? They are going offshore. How are they expanding? What are their clients? What type of businesses they are going in? For example, if next 5 years they are going into BFSI sector, then the CISO will have to think of getting a PCI DSS compliance. If
Mm.
the business is planning to go for a hospital business or taking over the client, then they will have to think about HIPAA compliance, right? If they are targeting US industry, they have to target comply for SOC, NIST, all these compliances. So CISO will have to think that if the business is progressing, if the business is expanding, what are the geographies it is expanding? What are the current requirement? What are the current trends which are there in the market? How the risk is evolving? How the technology is evolving? So all these factors will come into picture. Along with that, your BAU activities.
Mm.
Your business is going as usual. Your vulnerabilities will be getting identified. Your Windows updates will be there. Your OS will be expired. Your everything and all and everything will be coming at the same time. So the work of CISO is definitely going to increase. There's no looking back now as far as we are concerned. There's no
Yeah.
looking back, and I would say our futures are secure because technology
See,
is evolving
see,
and security market is evolving.
one of the things that I noticed, right? I think in the last year there was a lot of chatter when a couple of CEOs got, legal actions from US, right? There's a huge
Yes.
community uproar in cybersecurity. How can you hold a CISO accountable, right? But that's what I see. I don't know whether, from my perspective, in next 5 to 10 years, whether there will be clarity because most of the people were raising. If a company goes bankrupt, CEO is not held accountable. If there is a lapse in cybersecurity, how can only CISO be held accountable, right? So there were a lot of talks about CISO getting legal insurance, or in the offer letter just mention if there is a legal suit, company should fund it. So there are a lot of aspects to it because CISO, as you know, right, it's an evolution that happened in last 10 to 15 years. Previously CISO never existed in most of the organization, and there are a lot of
Yes.
legal risk and regulatory risks surrounding that because with SEC rules in US and SEBI rules in
Yes.
India and other stuff, if there is a lax in something, it's easy to fire CISO. That is one thing. The second thing is, should CISOs face legal consequences? That's a big debate in the community. I hope in the future, probably in 5 to 10 years, if that is resolved, that is great because CISO, as you know, it's a new leadership compared to CEOs and CTOs and COOs. They've been there for ages, but not CISOs, right?
I've seen one more thing. Now CISOs have hired at a peer level DPOs.
DPO, yes,
A DPO.
data
They
protection
have
officer.
hired DPO at a peer level so that if there is any legal consequences, if there is any legal lawsuits or something, he's the person who will take care of that.
Mm,
That
nice,
is the
nice,
one easy way out what CISOs are currently taking because at least DPO he understand law, he understand legal formalities, legal requirements of that particular country or multiple countries. So he can
nice,
easily advise what has to be done, where we have to sign, where we don't have to sign. So that is one of the aspect which CISOs are taking nowadays. I've seen
nice,
that. I've seen
nice.
that trend in multiple companies.
Good to know. Good to know that is evolving. I've seen a couple of DPOs, especially across Europe. A lot of DPO
Yes.
roles that have been.
It is a GDPR
Uh,
minimum requirement to have a DPO. You must have a
yeah,
DPO in
yeah,
the company.
true. Cool. Now, last part of the question is, what advice would you give to aspiring tech leaders or cybersecurity people who want to grow into leadership? Um, what would be one advice that you would recommend?
Uh, okay. So what I will recommend is first, I always tell to my subordinates, also the people who are reporting to me. First thing is don't stop your learning. Don't
True,
stop your learning curve.
100%. Yes,
Don't think at any stage that now you are learned in information security or
you are master.
cybersecurity. You are mastered. You cannot be. Even the
Yeah,
people who
true.
are having 40 years of experience today speaking after coming all this AI game, they are
They're
considered
coming back
in
to
negatives. They are coming back.
yeah,
Don't stop your learning curve. And
yeah.
there is no limit of learning in information security. Even after being in this industry from last 18 years, I will say myself, I don't know even 10% of information security. It's a
True.
so much, it's so vast ecosystem information security, you cannot even think of it.
Yeah,
You cannot be expert in any of the domain what is there. If we will
yeah.
say that, okay, we know GRC, we know how to do the governance, we know how to do the risk management, but out of that, Okay, I will know ISO 27005. I will know ISO
Yes.
31000. But I don't know how the COSO works. I don't know
Yeah.
how the Costco works.
Yeah.
So there's no limit to it. So don't stop your learning ever. Okay. Second thing, continue your reading on the new trends, new technologies. Subscribe on the portal, subscribe on your, what do you say, like for example, I've subscribed in ISACA, ISA2. I regularly gets updates what is currently going in the market. As a
True.
leader, in a leadership role, you should know what is there, right? Third
Yeah.
most important thing is talk to the experts. Be a part of discussion even if you don't have any inputs, even if you don't know anything. Be a part of it. At least you will understand what 1% of understanding from what they are talking. Be a part
True.
of that discussion. Be authoritative. What
Yeah.
you are
Even if
speaking,
you're wrong.
whatever you
Yeah.
speak,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even if you're wrong,
whatever
never
you are
mind.
speaking,
Just put your point out.
put your point out. You might be wrong. Don't
Yeah.
hesitate in putting your point.
Yeah. That is
And that's
something
what
I
I
think.
learned from my current manager. He especially told me, Tanmay, even if you are wrong, speak up.
Yeah.
Even if it is nothing relevant to this, speak up. Don't hesitate.
Yeah. I
At
learned
least,
it the hard way. I learned it the hard way. For almost 2 through 3 years, I thought I know everything. You know, whatever I need, I need. I've done. I've set for my life. I'll never learn again. Now I'm at a stage I can't find enough time to learn. There is so much to learn, but because of that, I still blame myself. So much time I spent, without doing anything. I spent 3 to 4 hours. I was too comfortable in my position. I know the world, how it works, everything in cybersecurity. I know everything, in the world. I can understand, I can break it down. But now, looking back after 7 years after that realization, I have so much to learn. Every day I fight for even getting 10 to
yes.
15 minutes of time to learn, right? So that's a realization that I had it hard way, but that is something that I teach out of experience from my subordinates and colleagues, saying never stop learning, because the moment that you stop learning, you stop to grow. You just stuck in that time and place and you never move forward.
No, it
Yeah.
happened. It happens with everyone. I was at
Yeah.
the same stage. And what I think is we are the millennial kids. So it
Yes.
is it definitely comes to us at least once in a lifetime that we knows everything.
Similar.
But it is
Yeah.
not like that at all.
Yeah, true. Nice chatting with you, Tanmay. And that's it from my side for today's episode. Thank you, Tanmay, for such valuable insight journey. But amazing catching up with you. If given opportunity, probably will touch base sometime later again. I'm trying to do kind of a group podcast where bring in different sort of people from different background. See, one of the things I realized throughout this podcast journey, I had a couple of builders, developers, salespeople. Try to put them in the same room, ask the difficult questions, right? Okay, now security guy is saying we can't go live. What is the sales problem? What is the security problem? What is the developer problem? Right? Nobody, because it's very hard to get this in real life experience, right? Because you are
Yes.
all siloed in your own team trying to sort out, but when you sit
Mhm.
on that executive table, this is the problem that you deal with. Cyber security guy is asking 1 million, developer is asking 2 million, sales is asking 1 million, right? I have only 2 million. Now, what
Mhm.
should we
Correct.
do? Justify why you need what you need, because that is something you can only learn from listening and talking to people, these kind of scenarios. Because it's easy to complain my company is not doing right by sitting it on the ground, right? When you
Yes.
look at this
How to make it
difficult
right.
question, yeah, when you
Yes.
look at these difficult decisions, you see what is the trade-off being done and why it is being done, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. Probably once we have a sizable audience, I think we are hitting close to 10 leaders now. We almost completed 10 leaders, bringing into this podcast. But I enjoyed your conversation. Yeah, definitely. Tech Leadership Podcast will be on YouTube. There will be a lot of shorts and reels for short content users also. But um, thank you, Tanmay, for making this.
Thank you so much, Arun, for having me. It was a really nice talking to you. And as I told before this podcast, also, this is my very first podcast.
Happy,
So
happy
I don't
that you are
know
on
how
Tech
to speak.
Leadership as the first.
So that is a very first podcast for me. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you so much, Arun.
Thank you, Tanmay. Bye.